So here is another clip from PS We Trust this week. In the last video, I was talking about how I have just got a PS5. This clip is about the delay of Redfall and Starfield and how disappointing it is to be an Xbox fan and for everything to be delayed. So this is my off-the-cuff discussion about that and explaining what 2022 might still have in store for Xbox. If you want to listen to the full podcast, links in the description. If you want to listen to the previous part, that was my previous video as well, so go back and watch that. So without further ado, here is the clip.
So this news is really shocking to me because Starfield, I gotta say, I wasn't overly certain it was going to come out. Bethesda haven't really had the best track record of the last couple of releases, and I think, to be honest, if it's not right, then you're best off to delay it right into the next year. That's definitely the best solution. But then when Redfall as well, I just thought, oh my god, this is dire now for the rest of the year. How did it feel for you? And I suppose give us the rundown of what this means for Xbox in 2022, what they could potentially be doing. Do they have any tricks up their sleeve? Let's hear it all, Lewis. I want to unpack your Xbox brain and just seep in that beautiful knowledge that you got there.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously I agree with you. A delay is always a good thing. You don't want another Cyberpunk. You want something that's going to be good when it comes out of the gate. But it is very frustrating as an Xbox fan that every year it does seem to be, next year's going to be amazing. Next year's going to be amazing. Next year's going to be amazing. It seems to be like the catchphrase of Xbox. And it is getting very frustrating. And also it is very frustrating that it feels like they've put all their eggs in one basket with Starfield. And now that's gone. It feels very barren and, not very hopeful. I have got a list of 21 games that might still come out this year, but the odds are that we're going to have maybe one or two big things maybe coming out. But it's not going to... It's not looking great. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. We're probably going to get Forza this year, which is nice, I guess. And there's a rumour of Gears of War collection. And there's also, we're finally getting Deathloop, even though you guys have had it for a year. But it is looking pretty dire, I'm not going to lie. Halo Battle Royale is also rumoured. There's a couple of things, but it's not, yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with you. I'm kind of glad I got a PS5 now, to be honest. So I have some stuff to play while the rest of the year. It's not looking great, to be honest. I could just go back to Elden Ring, I suppose. I could just play that for the rest of the year, and I wouldn't mind, to be honest.
Well, I think you're probably taking an entire year to do every single thing in that game because it just seems to be endless. The more I kind of go off and go into a different cave or whatever, there's another 10 hours of adventure there. So you could probably make that sustain the rest of the year. Now, listeners might remember the last time we had you on the show, I was saying at the time that when it comes to Xbox, that I felt that they were mismanaging their studios and that I felt that they've grown to such a large size now that it's too much of a job for them to be able to keep a close knit on it. Whereas Sony, even though they're quite a big team, it's been kind of gradual increases. And so it's not that much different to manage, They kind of already got everything kind of in place and it's all sorted. And I was saying that at the time because of the... is it the Inquisition? Is that what they're called? What that team called? That super team, that massive team that was supposed to happen and they've just never released a goddamn thing. The Initiative, that's it. And that's the one that I was thinking at the time was this is just so mismanaged, because they had people coming in from all over, all different studios were kind of flocking towards this. Loads of like ex-Naughty Dog, like all big names from all over the gaming sphere were going there, and then they all started leaving because things just, I guess they were being mismanaged. Do you feel then that this same thing's kind of repeating, that this is just kind of the proof of what we've been saying? Because I think you were agreeing with me at the time that there's something that just isn't seeming too right about this.
I mean, as much as I don't want to agree with you on this, it does sound that they do need to organise a bit better. They have so many great studios, so many games in development. As I just said there, I've got a list of 21 games, and then there's another 20, 30 games that we know about that are coming in at some point, but there's no idea when any of these things are coming out. It's this they're not very. It does seem a bit unorganized, and like it's a joke that Xbox doesn't remember. It forgets that there's 6 months between 6 months before July that they could release games. They only ever seem to release anything in the last quarter or the last 2 quarters, and they got so many studios. It's crazy to me that we're still having this conversation about them not having anything to play this year. It's crazy. I really thought that we would at least get Redfall this year because it was meant to come out in summer. The fact that both of them are delayed is baffling. As we've said multiple times, it's a delayed game is better to delay something than just to release it broken. But it feels like you should have something set up as a backup. I mean, the PlayStation. There's a rumor that there's The Last of Us 1 remake coming out. So even if God of War gets delayed, you'll have that to play this winter in theory. So I mean, it's a bit frustrating. As I said, we might get a Gears of War collection, but it does feel a bit barren. Almost like the launch year, there was nothing a launch either. It's very weird that they can't just organise the studios. I mean, I agree with you completely, honestly.
No, it's sad because I mean this podcast, as much as we're giving you a bit of jip now, and I've been taking the piss a bit. We're all pro Xbox on here. We want them to succeed because ultimately it keeps PlayStation in line. You don't want to have a brand that's running away with the competition because then they just start doing more shady shit. And we want them to be a strong brand, and you need competition to forge that strong brand, right? So we want Xbox to do well. Don't get me wrong. Like we actually really do. And it was really nice seeing the competition that was levied around Christmas time. When Halo was out, before everyone realized what Halo had kind of turned into. But when Halo came out, there was so much goodwill. Everyone was like really, really impressed by the beta for the multiplayer and stuff. Forza was kicking ass, so it was a good time. And then it just seems to the steam's just run out the engine a little bit. So I know we're going to go into this a lot on the next episode, where we're going to be talking about predictions for what's going to be shown in the Xbox and Bethesda showcase, as well as the Summer Game Fest. But you mentioned a list of games that potentially may be coming out. What kind of games you got in there? Any kind of big hitters? If it's just Tunic 2, then no one really gives a fuck. But if it's something that's actually got a bit of meat on the bones, then I'd love to hear about it.
All right, so I got the list here. A lot of them are indie games, as you've said, so you're not super interested in those. So obviously Forza Motorsport is the big one. That's the one that seems most likely to be coming out this year. Because that used to be annual, and then they started taking a gap, and this one is Horizon actually took it over in the cycle, so there was 2 Horizons in a row. There hasn't been a motorsport in a while, so it seems like it's due. Then there's Deathloop, obviously, which you guys have. Age of Empires 4, Gears of War Collection, Halo Battle Royale. There's a possibility we might get Hellblade 2, because we've actually seen gameplay for it, so it's possible. That's, out of all the games which are like in the far distance, that's the one we've seen the most for. GoldenEye Remaster, which would be a lot of fun, but I'd probably play it for like a day and then get bored of it. Indiana Jones is still a possibility.
Do you, just to stop you there, do you reckon that could come out this year? Indie?
I would say like 2%.
right.
Come out this year. Not likely. It could happen. I mean, there's rumours that it's a lot further in development than people think. But,
wow.
From what I've heard on other podcasts, but I wouldn't bet on it, to be honest. There's also Contraband. That sounds like that's been secretly delayed to next year as well, which is the 4-person. Grand Theft Auto heist type game made by the people of Just Cause, which looks cool, but that's been delayed to next year as well. There's Pentiment, which was made by Obsidian, which is a weird RPG. I made a massive note of it. It's like it's an RPG without any battling in it, and it's about discovering a murder mystery olden days is very weird. I'm not sure if that's going to blow anyone away. Grounded 1.0 as well might be coming out, so I mean that's been in what's the word?
Alpha?
Beta, I guess. It's been a bit out early access. It's been in early access for like 2 years. So the official version of that might be coming out this year as well, which is but yeah, that's really it. Really, there's not massive things on here. There's like the rumored Monster Hunter clone game that might be coming out, which is like a rip off of Monster Hunter, which would be fun. But again, that's probably a 2023-2024 game. I think most likely is Gears of War Collection, Forza, and Halo Battle Royale. So the typical Xbox trifecta of Forza, Halo, and Gears strike again. So, yay!
Remember, you're meant to be the pro Xbox host tonight,
yeah.
right? So you need to big it up a little bit more. Okay, don't just appeal to the PlayStation crowd. We have listeners that play PC, play Xbox, and play PlayStation. So big it up a little bit, Lewis. Come on.
Let's just do that again. We have Gears, Halo, and Forza. Oh yes.
Oh my God, that's going to be amazing.
Yes, it's going to be quite a year for Xbox.
I mean, it would be good if they did get Forza out this year, because at least then you can directly compare it to Gran Turismo, and the fans would do that. They'll be going wild for it, won't they? As soon as there's one screenshot or a bit of gameplay, that's the first thing it's going to be compared to. And seeing as the difficulties, I'll put it, that Gran Turismo has gone through this time, I've always said that Forza's been eating Gran Turismo's lunch, and I've been saying that Gran Turismo needs to do better and up their game. But this seems like the perfect time to be able to get that out. It's just like you said, the danger is you got from now in May up until maybe October, 5 months of the year in just this draft. In just this drought is quite lame. But guys, I might as well hand it over to yourself. Spence, you've been very quiet on this. What are your kind of thoughts on this overall thing?
Bro, I've been quiet because anything I feel I could say would just be an insult. All these games I'm hearing, which is, 3 games, that might not even come out this year. One's a Battle Royale, don't like Battle Royales. One's a racing game, don't like racing games. Gears Collection, is that not just all the Gears games that are already out? I mean, I'm just glad I have a PlayStation. That's more or less all I can say on the topic. I wish Xbox could step it up, and I would really love them to. But they just have a habit and a trend of just announcing nothing and then announcing something, but not quite. They announce it exists, and that's it.
I think that's kind of their problem, though, in a way, is that, and Lewis, I'll come to you and hopefully, we'll see what you think. But personally, I think that what they've done last year, where they announced all this suite of games, and they said, right, here we go. This E3 or whatever it was called, I think it was just their conference, whatever. We've got 65 games, whatever they said. We're going to show you all this shit. And all it was just like a title or a CG trailer, the game name. And you're like, fuck does that mean? And when does it come out? And then all people do is they're asking questions all the time. When's it coming out? When's it coming out? And it's like, it's like with Bethesda where they're like, here's Elder Scrolls. By the way, we haven't even remotely started active development on that yet because we're working on Starfield, but we're going to tell you about it 10 years in advance. It's like, bro, come on, man. Like, you could keep this so then you're not getting people thinking, fucking hell, where is everything? But I suppose it's a double-edged sword, right? Lewis, what do you think about their current strategy that they've been on where they're giving you all, they're spouting it all out? Like Spencer said, they're kind of shouting about stuff that's coming out, but then it doesn't seem to materialize. Do you think they'd be better off going quiet and then coming out with something when it's kind of ready to go, so we're not all then thinking, what's going on?
I mean, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't, really, in this situation. I feel like the stigma that they have is Xbox has no games. I mean, that was the thing we've heard for years and years and years and years. So they're like, oh yeah, we have no games? Here's all our games for the next 10 years. Like, okay, great. But we still have that situation because they haven't released anything or they're struggling to release things. It's as I said earlier, it is the constant next year will be great. next year, the year after that will be great. I mean, 2023 on paper sounds absolutely amazing, but we said that last year, and I said that the year before. So it's frustrating, honestly. As you said last year, we had an exclusive every month for the last 5-6 months of the year, and it was like, oh, this is great. We're doing really well here, and then suddenly it's just like, nope, that's it. We're out of exclusives. You have to wait now. As I said, they put all their eggs in the Starfield Redfall basket, and now that's been delayed. They had like no backup, really. I mean, that's the frustrating thing. I feel when Activision come in, they should, in theory, have enough games to be able to cover these gaps. But again, that's still down the line. That's what the problem is. It's always further down the line. It's always pushing it, kicking the can down the road.
And I suppose the one thing is out of their hands, which is the Stalker 2 delay. That was just unfortunate. That was the war in Ukraine which put that off. So they would have had a game around about now, I think. I think it was delayed a little bit, wasn't it? But it wasn't delayed by far, by only by a few months, wasn't it?
It was delayed from March to December, so it was meant to be out December, the delay. And there's also Atomic Heart is a similar looking game, and I think that's also been delayed due to that as well.
That's two games that I'm actually genuinely interested in. So it's a little unfortunate that they've been delayed, because I would have been quite interested to see if I could possibly play those at some stage, maybe either on PC or on one of my older Xboxes.
Phil, before we hand it over to Lewis and get his ideas about what they could potentially do to kind of salvage the rest of the year, see if he's got any kind of quick fixes for him. What are your thoughts on all this, Phil?
It's a difficult one for me, because I think I made this choice early doors. I sided with PlayStation because I've always been a PlayStation guy. But as I just alluded to in my last back and forth with Lewis, I do have a few Xboxes, right? I have the 360 and I have the previous generation Xbox as well. But did I play them? Did I fuck? And it's just carried on. And this is why I haven't bought the newest Xbox, because there's just no need. There's no games there for me to, spend that money, right? I see a lot of people throwing it around on Twitter at the moment. It's a $500 paperweight that's just sitting there doing nothing next to your ugly PlayStation 5.
That's a fair point. Because a lot of people, they'll come out on Twitter, right, and they'll do that annoying thing where they'll come out with some kind of criticism on something, and they'll be like, I own both consoles. Like, as if that makes you like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize, you can't be a toxic fanboy when you own both, right? Like, somebody would come out, they'd be like, fuck Xbox, it's a load of shit, I fucking hate it. And they'd be like, by the way, for all you Xbox, I own an Xbox. It's like, yeah, good one, mate. Nice one. You just wasted 500 quid just so you can have fucking points on Twitter. Good fucking work. And that always pisses me off.
I mean, I have both consoles, so my opinion is more valid. Just gonna put that
and that's
out there.
exactly why we got you on the show, Lewis. Because we're slowly, the longer this podcast goes on, we're morphing you away. We're saving you from the hell that you were in, the literal hell that you were in with Xbox, and we've given you that sweet taste on this podcast. And now you're like, I gotta suck at that teat. I gotta get that sweet nectar in me, baby. And you're just coming in, and we're slowly getting you, just rubbing it in. And now you're gonna come back and be 6 months' time, and next thing you know, we'll need to find a new Xbox guy, because you'll be in there with full PlayStation gear and you'll be on the podcast. It's just a matter of time. We're slowly gonna morph you in. So, Lewis, what are your kind of top tips for Xbox? What can they do to salvage the rest of the year? Do you think it's all going to hang on this showcase they're going to do in the next month?
Oh, totally. This is like the make or break situation right here. If they have anything for this year, they need to show it now. They need to start putting some dates on some stuff, because I'm not the only Xbox fan who's frustrated by this situation. There's a lot of us who are fans of Xbox but are fed up of hearing the same old excuses. As I said, I have a massive list of games that could come out this year, so it's possible they could have some stuff set up, but it's how much they relied on Starfield and how much they relied on Redfall to hit this year, how much they put their eggs in those baskets and didn't have anything. I'm really hoping they have stuff planned. I'm really hoping that we're going to go into this showcase and then we're gonna have a better view of the rest of the year, and it'll be all happy. But I don't know. I really don't know. I really hope. I'm like, fingers crossed. That's all I'm gonna really say about it. Forza will be good, but is it gonna be the game of the year? Is it gonna be amazing? Is it gonna be like the second coming of Christ? Not really. No, it's just a racing game, as Spencer said. It'll be good, but if that's all we're getting this year, it's going to be very, very frustrating, and we might not even get that. So,
Lewis, I've got a quick question before we close you out, and thank you for all your input so far in the show. It's been super valuable, because a lot of the time, a lot of our listeners will just hear our biased views on Xbox, but hearing it from the horse's mouth tonight has been very informative, and it feels like you're pretty much on our side with everything, which is very nice to hear. I just want to ask you about PlayStation Plus. Because I'm not a massive fanboy of this. Obviously, Davey, he's a massive apologist for this service. He absolutely loves it. He thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread. Is that something you're going to be subscribing to? And at what tier are you going to be subscribing to? And then just a caveat to that, did you subscribe to Xbox Games with Gold? Because I just looked those up for May, and there's not a lot there, is there? Unless you love Viva Pinata.
Well, I didn't know that was on this. Oh, I'm definitely going to get this month. I have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which has Xbox Gold included, and it also has PC Game Pass included, and it also has cloud streaming. So, yeah, I have Gold, but as you said, it's rubbish. Game Pass is great. Gold is terrible. They need to kind of fix that. Whereas PlayStation Plus, I feel basic PlayStation Plus with the collection and your monthly game is pretty decent. I had FIFA this month, which is great for me because I love FIFA, and I didn't get around to buying it this year, so I've just got that to play, which is like cool. The new tiers, I'm not sure honestly how I feel. You've got a couple of good exclusives coming, but it's not day and date, so I like the list goes. Oh, Returnal, I bought that. Spider-Man, I bought that. It's just like, oh, okay, I already have most of the games on the middle tier, and a lot of I don't know. The highest tier is PS3, PS1, and PSP, right? Yeah. I think I would stick to the bottom tier of PlayStation Plus at the moment, because I've already got so much to play with the PlayStation Collection and the games I've bought. Yeah, I think honestly I'll stick to the lowest tier because they're still pretty decent with the lowest tier. Yeah.
You are speaking my language, Lewis. I'm not interested in the higher tiers because I have the biggest back catalogue ever, right? It's behind me. It literally spans the ceiling. And have I played half these games? Probably not, right? I got to get through them at some stage in my life, and now's probably not the time to be doing it, but I don't need any more games. But just to interject a little bit, you said you've played FIFA. Have you had a chance to play Tribes of Midgard? Because out of the offering this month, that was the one that stuck out to me the most, and us boys need to jump on it at some point. I don't know if it's 3-player, 4-player, but it'd be lovely to have you on if we do an evening.
Yeah. I've downloaded it, but I haven't played it yet. So, but yeah, that'd be good. Maybe play some Ghost of Tsushima at some point, because I've been getting back into that. I hear the boy play for that. It's pretty
hell
decent,
yeah,
so.
hell yeah. Now, you guys were talking about the PlayStation Plus collection. Seems like a perfect time to move it on to our final topic, which is, of course, talking about the recent news that we've had with PlayStation Plus collection. Now, Lewis, it's been an absolute joy to have you back here. I've really enjoyed every single minute of it. And as we said, we're PlayStation guys, of course we are. But I always try, and I think we always try, to take quite a balanced viewpoint when it comes to the console war. And when they're doing well, we'll be the first ones to shout about it and say they're doing a great job. And when they're not, the inverse. So it's quite nice to see that we got quite a balanced viewpoint with where you're coming at from your perspective on the Xbox side. So it's been an honor to have you back here, and I'll be looking forward to you coming back in 2 weeks' time.
Pleasure is all mine. I really enjoyed being on the show. As you know, I am the Xbox guy, but I have owned every single PlayStation, and I am still a fan of PlayStation. It just, at this moment in time, I'm mainly playing on the Xbox, but I still appreciate what PlayStation do, and I do enjoy talking about PlayStation and listening to your podcast when I get a chance. Also, I'm close to 5,000 subscribers, so please come subscribe to me on YouTube.
Of course. Yeah,
Just wanted to put that
please
in there
do,
as
please
well.
do. If you like wrestling, and you're trying a lot of new content now with your tier lists and your different reaction videos to different things. It's awesome to see. So if you are on YouTube and you like wrestling in particular, please check out Potato Chief's channel. It is going to be in the description of the podcast. Make sure to go on there. All the socials, everything for Lewis are all on in our description. Get on there, have a check out, subscribe to the channel, because we are on the drive to 5K for Lewis. So let's see if we can get it done by the end of the year.
Woo!
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you having
Thank
me
you,
on.
Lewis.
That's it. That was my clip from PS We Trust. If you enjoyed that clip, go watch the full episode. Links in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, too sweet. Laters, guys. We're on the road to 5K. Join Potato Club today and too sweet that subscribe button.